What is up, guys? Nick here. Now, today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite concepts ever. This thing completely changed my life, and I owe over 95% of my success in neuroscience, my success in business, success in health, pretty much everything, to what I'm about to teach you right now. And the real inspiration for this lesson is actually a man called Cal Newport, who published a book in 2016 called Deep Work. It's one of the best books I've ever read, and I highly, highly recommend checking it out if you guys want to get a deep understanding of both how and why the flow state works. And a disclaimer, I am in no way affiliated with Cal, but that book changed my life so much that I'm going to give him a shout out and include the link below. So I feel like most people have been misguided on what the flow state actually is and how you yourself can go about achieving it. For those of you guys that don't know, the flow state is basically a state of mind where you're so immersed in your work or in your craft that you forget about everything else. Time seems to slow down. Everything you do is calculated and careful, yet at the same time, you're the most liberated and free you've ever felt before in your life. Hence the name flow. Now, due to the way that the flow state is presented, most people have this motivational, almost dreamlike view of what it actually is. But I'm here today to tell you that that is wrong. Achieving flow is not a matter of motivation at all. If you guys look at the upper echelons of any sport, any knowledge work, or even any competition, people do not rely on motivation. If they did, they wouldn't be at the top. Because motivation is spurious and fleeting and inconsistent. People at the top instead rely on discipline, on scheduling, and on grueling, painful, almost grindingly slow, step-by-step achievement. And that's how you're going to achieve the flow state too. It's not going to happen all at once, and it's not going to be some pretty movie-like moment in which the background fades away and it's just you and your one thing. It's studying or practicing hour after hour for days on end, during which you feel like every single extra minute that you guys spend is torture and isn't actually getting you anywhere. But these torturous moments are what's going to break the ceiling on flow and actually allow you to get into that state. You need to put your preconceived romantic notions on what the flow state is and get rid of them. And then realize that you're never going to amount to anything that you want to unless you start rigorously scheduling and sticking to what initially may seem like monotonous, grueling work. There is no real secret, and if there even was a secret, this would probably be it. But there are ways to get there faster, and that's what I'm about to talk about. The first is full immersion in a skill or subject of interest. This can either be a 24/7 full day kind of enterprise in which you lock yourself in your room with your guitar or something, or this can be like a 3-hour stretch of time that you block out at the beginning of the day in which you write your book, or you study for your exam, or you sink a bunch of hoops, or whatever. And the key here is to be completely undistracted. Eliminate every single object of attention that isn't that one thing that you want to improve or learn about. And then make sure that when you're working, the entirety of your being is in your work. Okay, this means no Facebook, no TV, no phone, no friends even. Because when you're working, you're working. It's just you and your craft. And you will improve by leaps and bounds. You're going to learn in a week what takes other people months, sometimes years to learn. Your entire brain is going to be synchronized with this one thing. And you're going to make insights during that blocked off period of time that later, when you're out like eating lunch or something like that, you'll think back and be like, how the hell did I figure that out? With what I said earlier on immersion, the second most important factor in you achieving that flow is staying consistent in your practice, in your learning, or in your studying. If you're blocking out 3 hours per day, then you block out those 3 hours every single day for the next 3 months. And you stick to that schedule rigorously, religiously. Even when it seems like you just can't, you just hate yourself, you feel like quitting. Even when everything is telling you to stop, you take a deep breath and then you keep going. Because success at the end of the day is not a 24-hour thing. It takes time, but you will get there eventually. And the third way is push yourself. Every single day, make the work that you're doing just a little bit harder, a tiny bit more complicated. Progress day by day, regardless of how small each little step up that you make may seem to you at the time. It's said that human beings learn the best when they're right on the border between what they can do themselves and what's just out of their reach. Be ambitious. Attempt those things that you think are seemingly just out of your reach. And oftentimes, you'll find that you will actually be able to do them. And then once you figure out that you can do those, I want you to go up to the next step. If you do those things for a period of time, and I can't tell you just how long it's going to take because every person, every subject, and every skill level is ultimately different. But if you do those things for long enough, you will eventually achieve flow. And you will be the best at whatever you try to do or learn. I mean, if you think about it, there are really only two possibilities here. Either you succeed or you give up. So as long as you don't give up, then the only other possibility for you is to succeed. Remember that. Okay, so here we introduce the concept of deep work and the flow state. And definitely check out Cal Newport if you guys haven't already. We then went over our 3 principles of achieving flow. And again, they're not romantic, they're gritty and they're painful. And just to recap, they were 1, immersion, as in immerse yourself in your craft completely. 2, consistency, aka stick to a schedule and do not stop. And 3, push yourself. Stay on the border of what you're comfortable with and what's just out of your reach, and always be going up.